Good morning to all of you. Yesterday we were discussing about epithelial tissue and types of epithelial tissue. Let's revise. हमने सबसे पहले बात करी थी कि epithelial tissue है क्या. So epithelial tissue actually is a layer of cells, one or more than one layer of cells, जो कि cover करते हैं, lining करते हैं some part of our body, inside of inside the body or as well as outside of our body. यानी कुछ पार्ट्स हमारी बॉडी के अंदर भी हैं और कुछ पार्ट्स हमारी बॉडी के बाहर हैं, लाइक स्किन, जिनको ये कवर करते हैं, ये एपिथेलियल टिश्यू. एंड टाइप्स ऑफ एपिथेलियल टिश्यू क्या डिस्कस किया था? सिंपल एपिथेलियल टिश्यू एंड compound epithelial tissue. Okay, it is of two types on the basis of number of cellular layers. So simple epithelial tissue, why this name has been given to this? Because simple epithelial tissue has only one layer of cells. Okay, only one layer or a single layer of cells in case of simple epithelial tissue, and on the basis of their structure or modification in their structure or shape, there are of three types. कल पढ़ा इनके बारे में, स्क्वेमस, cuboidal and columnar. Okay, so हमने क्या बात करें कि व्हाट इज एपिथेलियल टिश्यू, कि ऐसा टिश्यू जो कि कवरिंग करता है, लाइनिंग करता है सम पार्ट ऑफ आवर बॉडी, इनसाइड एज वेल एज आउटसाइड ऑफ द बॉडी, लाइक स्किन एंड सम ऑर्गन्स इनसाइड आवर बॉडी. And on the basis of the presence of layers of cells, it is of two types: simple epithelial tissue and compound epithelial tissue. Simple means only single layer of cells is present. Okay, so on the basis of the arrangement of the cells in a single layer, shape and size and structural arrangement of cells, it is of three types: squamous type of single epithelial tissue, cuboidal type of single epithelial tissue and columnar type of epithelial tissue. Squamous हमने क्या कहा था? Flattened type of cells. यहाँ पे क्या है? Flattened cell. ये cells flat होते हैं. There is single layer of cells and cells are flattened in shape. Cuboidal, cube-like. They were cube-like cells. Okay, and columnar, they are tall and cylinder-like cells, and they bear microvilli on their free surface, which help in the movement of nutrients and various cells, especially in case of intestine. These columnar cells are present in the lining of the upper surface of the walls of stomach as well as in intestine, where microvilli are present. So they give rise to microvilli, and with the help of microvilli, nutrients are being absorbed inside the nutrients. Okay. So, and if cuboidal और columnar, यानी cuboidal और columnar में से दोनों में से अगर वो modify हो जाए और specialized हो जाए for some kind of secretions, if cuboidal or columnar, they get specialized for some specialized secretions, then they are known as glandular epithelium. ये हमने क्या बोला? Means ये किससे जुड़ा है? Glands. And glands, as you know, are specialized for some secretions. So glandular कैसे बना? If either cuboidal or columnar, when they get specialized for some secretions, then they are known as glandular epithelial tissue. Like we see exocrine glands and endocrine glands. Okay. And if this cuboidal or columnar epithelial tissue, अगर दोनों में से कोई एक, if they bear cilia, cilia क्या होता है? They are finger-like structures which helps in locomotion. When either of these cuboidal or columnar, when they bear cilia on it, अगर इनमें cilia मिले, इन दोनों में से किसी एक में, then known as ciliated type of epithelial tissue, like in fallopian tubes and bronchioles. Okay. Then compound epithelial tissue. So as its name, compound means it is made of or composed of two or more than two cell layers or layers of cell. Okay. So it is made of two or more than two layers of cells. It is single layer of cell, simple epithelial tissue. So the main function, its function is to provide protection. Function is to provide protection against any chemical or physical stress. ठीक है, so its main function is to provide protection to the underlying tissues. Okay. And in case of compound epithelial tissue, like we see this forms lining on the dry surface of skin. So this compound epithelial tissue lines the dry surface of the skin and moist surface of buccal cavity and pharynx etc. यानी मेन काम क्या है कंपाउंड एपिथेलियल टिश्यू का? पहली बात, इट इज मेड ऑफ टू और मोर देन टू layers of cells. First of all, function is to provide protection against any chemical or physical stresses, and it forms a lining the dry surface of skin and the moist surface of buccal cavity, pharynx etc. Okay, so ये दो टाइप के हमारे पास एपिथेलियल टिश्यू आ गए, सिंपल टाइप ऑफ एपिथेलियल टिश्यू एंड कंपाउंड टाइप ऑफ एपिथेलियल टिश्यू. Squamous, cuboidal, columnar, glandular, ciliated. And then we have cell junctions. तो these, जैसे इसका नाम है cell junctions, यानी cells को आपस में कनेक्टिविटी देने वाले. Okay. So there are three types of cell junctions. Tight junctions, adhering junctions, and gap junctions. There are three types of junctions. What are tight junctions? What are the function of tight junctions? They avoid leaking of substances from a cell और ओके सो टाइट जंक्शन में क्या है कि ये ऐसे जंक्शंस होते हैं कि जो किसी भी लीकिंग यानी प्रोटोप्लाज्मिक लीकिंग सेल का जो इनर कंटेंट है उसको वो लीक नहीं होने देते तो ये है टाइट जंक्शंस which avoid leaking of substances from a cell. Adhering junctions, जैसे इसका नाम है adhering, चिपके रखना, चीजों को चिपका के रखना आपस में, जोड़ के रखना. So adhering effect, that means linked together इंडिविजुअल सेल्स, जो इंडिविजुअल सेल्स है, जो क्लस्टर ऑफ सेल्स है या वो टिश्यू है, उनको आपस में जोड़ के रखना. एडहेरिंग जंक्शंस. देन गैप जंक्शंस. सो गैप जंक्शंस एक्चुअली दे फॉर्म connectivity from one cell to another. So these gap junctions form connectivity from one cell to another. Why? क्या reason उसके पीछे? In order to transport different materials, ions, nutrients, gases, you can say gaseous substances means all kind of substances from one cell to another cell. So there must be a bridge type of you can say structure. So that bridge type of structure actually provided by these gap junctions, which function as a bridge between two individual cells in order to transport various substances from one cell to another cell. So these cell junctions, tight junctions, adhering junctions, gap junctions, for transport of substances from one cell to another, to link together two individual cells or the actually cluster of cells with one another, and to avoid leaking of substances from a cell or across the cell. And this is epithelial tissue, simple, compound, single layer of cell, more than two layers of cells, types on the basis of modification of structures, squamous, cuboidal, columnar, and these actually glandular and ciliated type of epithelium, they are actually on the basis of their functional modification. ये functional modification पे आपकी ये चीज आ गई, क्योंकि जब cuboidal और columnar ने खुद को modify करा, ये specialized बन गए secretions के लिए, then they become glandular glands, glandular epithelium. Okay, and ये glandular भी आपके दो तरह के थे, आपके two types के थे ये, unicellular and multicellular. Isolated unicellular glandular cells like we see in case of goblet cells. So goblet cells क्या है आपके वो single layer glandular cells present in the alimentary canal to secrete mucus, and multicellular cells like the cluster, these are the cluster of cells, एक साथ इस cells को इकट्ठे होते हैं cluster of cells like in salivary glands. Okay, they are secretory in nature. So it's all about the epithelial tissue. Do remember all the examples of each of these type of epithelial tissue, and these are the cell junctions. Thank you.